What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez. I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. Let's make some moves.
All right. Yeah, speaking of making moves, guys, today we're going to be talking about some potential player-for-player trades we would like to see the 49ers make before the season starts. And it doesn't have to be specifically one player for one player. If you want to package something, Matt, that's fine. But I just want to know, what did you have in mind?
So we have some fat in the strong areas of this team, and we have some players that may, have been disappointments so far. And, there might be a team out there willing to kind of, take a couple of these guys and, maybe package them together and, send them off, and maybe they can polish them up real nice. It'll be something good for them. But my trade proposal is sending Solomon Thomas, Dante Pettis, and late round, so like a 6th round pick, to the Las Vegas Raiders for center Rodney Hudson.
Wow.
And the reason that I want to do that, it's not a sexy trade. It's, but it does fill an area of need. Right now, the 49ers are very thin at the interior offensive line position. Weston Richburg is a good player, but he's been hurt both seasons that he's been here. He's not getting any younger. And I think moving him off of the ball over to the guard spot and take over for Ben Garland would be a win for the team. So you slot him over in the right guard. Laken Tomlinson can still kick out at the other guard. That's fine. Then you have Justin School and Ben Garland that can rotate in and give some relief. And we can get back to, the pounding of the ball that Shanahan loves to do. Hudson is entering his age 30 season. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been the captain of the Raiders. He might be the best player on that team. But not a lot of people know who he is because nobody pays attention to interior linemen. The left tackles get all the love, but, interior line, especially center, if you can get a great center that's reliable, that can block, that knows cadences, that can pick up on the quarterback's, tendencies, can point out where the defense is lining up, you want that guy. And to me, Rodney Hudson is that guy. And you're shedding, things that, the Raiders could probably use an interior defensive lineman, which is where Thomas is going to fit a little bit better. And John Gruden loves his toys. And I think he could see Dante Pettis as somebody, he's a burner, man. He's got that speed. He's going to be, that was a terrible impression, but, point still stands. He's going to, try to maybe shine Dante Pettis up a little bit, give him a little bit of that tough love. A lot of people see something. There was a reason why he was a 2nd round pick. It's not like he doesn't have talent. Do I think that's going to happen? Obviously not. This is just, wishing well kind of sort of things that we're doing right now. But for me, that would be the move that I make, to shore up a weakness that the 49ers have, while also not, crippling us too much in other areas. We're taking from positions where we have an abundance of guys and sending that out the door for something that we really, really need. So that's where I'd go.
I like it. I really like it because, like you said, the interior line for the 49ers is relatively thin, especially compared to other positions on the team, like wide receiver, like defensive line. And these guys are a couple injuries away from being completely ravaged and left kind of shaking their head and looking around at the position. So I like that trade a lot. For me, it's more of a, I guess you could say, wish than a reality. But if we're talking hypotheticals here, I'm going to do a strictly one player for one player. I would send Dante Pettis to the Jets in return for cornerback Pierre Desir. And just like your trade, it's not a flashy, sexy trade. However, the 49ers are thin as well at cornerback. And after this year, a lot of that secondary is, free agents, either restricted or undrafted, or restricted or complete free agents. They're still likely to leave. So I think the 49ers could get starting caliber corner in Pierre Desir. And, he was signed to a cheaper contract. I believe it was like 1 year, $5 million with the Jets. That's not much money. The 49ers could afford that. They could make their cap space work. And I'm sure they could definitely value a player like Desir, starting either outside of Sherman, or depending on what happens with Akella Witherspoon, they could be the two moving forward after Sherman either moves to safety or leaves entirely. So I just think that would be a great trade for the 49ers to make. Because of that, Dante Pettis last season towards the end of the year, he didn't really even get on the field. I mean, he was in sweats and a hoodie for the Super Bowl. I think that's telling more than anything how they value him and how they view him right now. Now, is he still a young player who could still improve on his game? Yeah, of course. But I just think the 49ers are at a place in their Super Bowl window to where they can't afford to have players on the roster that are still kind of making that improvement and still kind of trying to get onto the field. I think they need players counting against that 53-man roster space that can contribute day one every single snap. And to get a guy like Pierre Desir from the Jets, I think that would totally make that happen. Matt, what do you think about that? Do you think Pierre Desir is a valuable trade candidate, or do you think it's not even worth it?
He is a valuable trade candidate, but here's the problem, and this is one of those things where we always do this. Everybody that does a mock trade or whatever, they always get rid of somebody that everybody knows you want to get rid of, and in this case, it's Dante Pettis. Yep. And I think that's the feeling around the league, is that the 49ers have had it up to here with Dante Pettis, and they'd like to get him out the door if they could. That drives down what his value is. And for somebody like Desir, who actually does hold some value, I think it would be hard to do a straight up one-on-one trade. Although if they could swing that, man, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do player for player trades. They rarely happen. It's usually picks and, something else, So for me, I think both directions that we're going could improve the team. It's just a matter of is that a realistic trade? Maybe, maybe not. Everybody's like, hey, put it in Madden. Maybe if Madden says it's good, then it's good. But for our purposes, it makes it hard because and this is why it's hard to improve your roster year over year. You're left with inevitably every team has some duds on their roster that they'd like to ship off. But other teams are wary of that. There's enough tape floating around that people have seen what they're going to see. And so for me, it's just, Dante Pettis, this is a critical year for him. And if he's going to have any value whatsoever, if they want to trade him or even if they want to keep him, they've got to see something out of him. So, in that regard, I think, both of our trades are kind of unrealistic because the players that we want are really good and the players that we're trying to get rid of are kind of bad. But, it's a fun little exercise anyway.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of think about and just who would you move around if you had complete control. The only reason why I picked a guy like Desir is because similar to the 49ers wide receiver room, the Jets cornerback room is growing crowded. They added a few more guys this year in the draft. They had a couple of guys re-sign. They brought in a free agent, I believe. So although he started caliber, he may be getting squeezed out by guys that they value a little more, that they gave a little more money to, that have a higher draft capital. So it's just something that I thought could possibly happen. Yeah. The 49ers in all reality would probably have to package a pick along with Dante in order to get him in return, but it's just something that I think could definitely happen. As far as your trade scenario with Rodney Hudson, he's definitely one of the better underrated centers in the league. Nobody talks about him much, like you said, because it's not a sexy position, but he's done really, really well in his career. And the 49ers were able to swing a trade and land him in return for Solomon Thomas and Dante Pettis. Did you? You packaged a late pick with that too.
And like a fifth or a sixth, yeah. And that's why I did that, because Solomon Thomas and Dante Pettis on their own have almost no trade value. They're filling space. To me, again, like you said, and like I said, Rodney Hudson is not a sexy pick known to fans, but I guarantee you every personnel director and scout and GM knows who Rodney Hudson is. He's a guy that you have to pay attention to when you go up against that Raiders team, because again, like I said, I think he's the best player on their team. So yeah, if we could, that'd be like what happened with David Johnson for, Nuke Hopkins. That would be that kind of trade, just because of how good Rodney Hudson is.
That trade still gets me mad. But guys, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Our handles are below on the screen. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment with your thoughts below.
And hit the bell for all your notifications. Don't Bill O'Brien this, people.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Go Niners.